Alrighty folks, like clockwork, it is time once again to talk about a reported delay for a console that has still never had an official window from Nintendo. Let's get into it. Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games. I swear, it is honestly ridiculous at this point looking back at all of the discussion in 2022 about how the Switch 2 will launch alongside Tears of the Kingdom, leading into more concrete reporting in late 2023 about how it could release in early 2024, and then in early 2024, it was reported it would launch this holiday. Then just a few weeks later, it shifted to the early months of 2025, and now there's people talking about a late 2025 or even early 2026 release. Like, you genuinely cannot make up this level of goalpost moving, and I'm sorry. It's freaking annoying. Alright, so here's what happened yesterday that's got everyone talking. Speaking on the GamesIndustry.biz podcast, Christopher Dring said, quotes, "No developer I've spoken to expected to be launching this financial year. In fact, they've been told not to expect it in the current financial year. A bunch of people I spoke to hope it's out in April or May time. Still early next year, not late." He continues here, "I don't think any of us want a late launch for Switch 2 because we all want a new Nintendo console. Everyone gets very excited for it, and we don't want that crunch of GTA 6 and Switch and all that kind of stuff on top of each other." So that's what initially kind of sparked this, and that's what got a lot of people talking about a potential later than March release for the Switch 2. But then we had some cryptic tweets from a Wall Street Journal writer Takashi Mochizuki that, at least from where I'm sitting, seemed to be him hinting at an even later release than people are expecting at this point. Someone replied to him saying, "It's releasing in May, isn't it?" And he replied with a frowny face. Now that says to me that he has heard or thinks he knows that it is not releasing by May at the earliest, just given the frowny face. I mean, that's not, I'm reading into a tweet here, but this same person has done a lot of reporting about when this thing was coming out. The same person was talking about the Switch Pro back in the day. And then just this morning, Eurogamer corroborated that they've heard April 2025 is the absolute earliest it'll release, saying, quote, "Hope fades for Switch 2 launch in early 2025. Eurogamer can also corroborate this with April 2025, the very earliest the console could now arrive." Now let's be clear here, those first two people I talked about, while both of these names are widely reported, especially in this Nintendo space, both of them have very poor track records when it comes to being right about really anything regarding Nintendo. Christopher Dring notoriously said that Tears of the Kingdom would be the final major Switch game, then when Mario Wonder was announced, started coping by saying it was just a C-Team game. And even just in June, he said there'd be no June Direct. Spoiler alert, there was a June Direct. So I don't necessarily think that anyone should read into these reports coming out, but you should take away the fact that the goalpost has just kept moving forward, and it is getting insane at this point. I'm not just saying from Chris Dring or Takashi Mochizuki, just in general, the discussion about Switch 2 over the past 3 years has been mind-numbing. In 2020 and in 2021, a lot of outlets and other YouTubers and just a lot of people imbued the idea of a Switch Pro happening into everybody's minds, which at the time felt reasonable. But I feel like ever since then, there's been a little room for actual Nintendo theorizing and speculation and fun discussions to be had about Nintendo games, because anytime you talk about literally any game, even back to Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Bayonetta 3 going into Tears of the Kingdom, and of course now with Prime 4 and Legends EA, it's been years since you could talk about these games without someone chiming in about, oh, these are actually going to be Switch 2 games, they look too good for Switch 1, they're going to save it for the Switch 2, it's going to be enhanced on Switch 2, it's going to be a cross-gen release on Switch 2. Like, bro, I want this console as much as the next person, but why are people so pressed about it? It's not like we're getting less games than usual right now. In 2024, we're actually not even getting more remasters than 2023. There's more new games this year. I also feel like I've been stranded on an island this entire time or something, because I've been making videos since 2022, since Nintendo Switch Sports was announced and Furukawa said that the Switch was halfway through its life cycle. He didn't lie, by the way. I've been making videos about the successor whenever it's in the news like it was today, saying the earliest it would release would be 2025. And this entire time, I've always gotten comments saying stuff like, "That makes no sense. Your reasoning's poor. You're making no sense. It has to release in 2024. Nintendo is doomed if they don't release it in 2024, late 2023, yada, yada, yada." And hey, if it doesn't come out in the first half of 2025, I will take the L and say I was wrong about my actual prediction for when it would release. But man, at least I wasn't hyping people up about this thing coming out a full 2 to 3 years before Nintendo even acknowledged the damn thing. It is kind of funny seeing people say Nintendo is losing all momentum though, because while yes, console sales are down, it's not like they're squandering their active user base or anything. They have more people engaged right now in the Nintendo ecosystem, the Nintendo Switch platform, right now in 2024 than they ever have before. We know this from their financial reports where they talk about annual engagements and annual active users. So while fiscal year 2024 might see the lowest sales for the Switch hardware yet, maybe software sales go down, user engagement is still at an all-time high with no signs of really dipping. Now, if we get to late 2025 and the Switch 2 somehow hasn't released by then, maybe these numbers will go down a bit, but man, to think back to 2023 and 2022 even, when people were telling me that in early 2023 Nintendo needs to do something fast because of the decline, it's just so funny to look back on how uneducated a lot of people are when it comes to Nintendo. Like, y'all really don't know what you're talking about, man. And I will say this, while there will probably be no way to ever, with 100% accuracy, confirm this unless Nintendo says something in an interview around launch for the Switch 2, as it stands, though, I think it's foolish to think it was ever slated for 2024. In a year with a new 2D Zelda game, a new Mario Party, a new Mario & Luigi game, we're getting stuff like Famicom Detective Club, just to name a few this holiday season, there would simply not have been room for a console launch this holiday. The reports earlier this year saying it was coming out this year, they were wrong. Any other assumption at this point is just cope. With all that being said, I did make a video on Monday regarding some rumors that Nintendo might be moving up a direct a few weeks to make space for a Switch 2 reveal in September or October. And while I once again take all rumors with a grain of salt, especially regarding direct timings and Switch 2 timing, the timing of the announcement, right? While I take all that stuff with a grain of salt, I do still lean towards this being the case. But if it doesn't happen, I don't know, man. I'll be too busy playing Zelda, Mario & Luigi, Dragon Quest III Remake, and more to really care that much. And either way, we do know for a fact that Nintendo is going to announce this console this fiscal year. They said so themselves back in May during their investor meeting. So by March 31st, 2025, at the latest, we will hear about this thing. And that's all they've ever promised to us. That's all they've ever told us. So there's no reason to think that won't happen at this point. I'm just really tired of a lot of this goalpost moving from a lot of reporters and outlets and all that, right? That, like, dude, just don't make an article about it. I understand Switch 2 gets clicks. I know that very well as someone who makes videos about Switch 2 here and there. Certainly not as many as a lot of other people. I don't cover it as much as a lot of other people, but it is ridiculous. If you don't have something to say, don't say it. If you're not confident in your information, don't say it. Was some developer in late 2023 told by some person that maybe Nintendo internally was targeting a very late 2024 release? That might be possible, but I promise you it was never like a Nintendo had this whole presentation with Ubisoft and Activision and all these developers being like, hey, we're aiming late 2024. I guarantee you that didn't happen. If anything, it was probably just some off-the-cuff remark about, like, the potential time frame. Like, oh, maybe have your game ready by then. We're not sure yet. And then, of course, that got reported by some developer that didn't know what they were talking about. Then it went to all these outlets, and then it just keeps spiraling and spiraling to the point where so much misinformation gets put around, and it's really freaking annoying. Regardless, let me know what you think of all of this nonsense down in the comments below, and subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news, discussion, speculation, and more. I also have a Twitter account at BoTalksGames. I also have a new second channel called It's Amiibo. That just hit 1,000 subscribers this morning, so thank you all so much for the support over there. I'm definitely having more fun with that channel right now because there's no time limit on the videos. Like, they're all kind of just timeless videos that I can post whenever, so I can kind of get a little stockpile going. It's kind of fun trying to plot out a whole like little schedule of videos over there. So it's a little different than this channel. So having a lot of fun with that. Thank you all so much for the support there, and yeah, subscribe here of course for more Switch 2 rumors that aren't real. Bye bye.